Ladies and gentlemen, so today we have some Rage gameplay from kind of the end game of Marvel Strike Force at the moment, which, you know, is a little bit hard to tell because this game is still in its beta. It's still only been out for about 2 months in closed regional beta, and every single week there are kind of updates and tweaks being made to this game, so there is a lot changing, but I wanted to put out some gameplay that kind of shows what the current end game of Marvel Strike Force is kind of looking like, but there's still a lot more to come. The current level cap is 50, but I believe they're planning on upping it like 65 or 70 for launch. So yeah, there's going to be a lot changing. So at the moment we're fighting Nobu, and Nobu has a very fun ability that if anybody on his team dies, he has a small chance, I believe it's 15 to 20%, to revive them, and yeah, he procs that quite a bit. But we've got our team of Luke Cage, Gamora, Winter Soldier, Nobu, and Kingpin. So Nobu and Kingpin, we're just trying to summon as many minions as possible. Luke Cage is our tank, and Gamora and Winter Soldier are primarily our damage dealers here. So as you can see, we've killed 2 people with Gamora and Winter Soldier, but they've gotten very, very lucky, and they have both revived. You see they're both active at the moment. So we're going in with Kingpin because there's no kind of AoE threat here that we're going to get nuked down, so it makes sense to get as many minions kind of in the fray as possible. So we've got 1 Blade Master and 2 kind of taunt thugs from Kingpin. So those 2 characters are mitigating kind of a lot of the damage and keeping it off the champions that we want to stay alive. And one of the things in raids that you need to keep in mind is that ability cooldowns are shared per fight, and this first fight is a very, very easy one. There's not too much to worry about, so that's the reason we're not using any of the big hits on Gamora and Winter Soldier, because at the start of the next fight, it's very, very important, if I want to avoid taking a ton of damage, that I have Gamora's ultimate attack ready to fire off right toward the start of that. So yeah, we're just going in with the standard attacks on Gamora, and it's more than enough to dispatch of any opponent. But watching my gameplay back, you know, I like it. I can see some room for improvements here and there, but we're going in just getting that Nobu down, and this is a 2-wave encounter. So it starts off with Nobu and a lot of hand ninjas, and then Daredevil and Elektra are going to come down very shortly after, and you want to get the Daredevil down ASAP. Daredevil and Elektra are kind of the focus targets, so we're just putting as much damage on them as possible. Going into the Daredevil, we're Kingpin now. I was kind of thinking, you know, exactly what I want to do, but it's just a standard attack, and luckily we got an assist. So one of Kingpin's abilities is he gives a chance for villains to assist on his attack, so that was where that additional damage from one of the bodyguards came from. And Elektra just used one of her ultimate abilities on one of our really, really weak pawn bodyguard minions. That's not a problem at all, and that's one of the main benefits having these characters like Kingpin, Nobu, and Yondu that summon additional minions in raid, is that a lot of the time the really, really big hard-hitting abilities just get used on these very, very disposable characters. So currently, like Nobu, Kingpin, and Yondu, they are characters with just a phenomenal amount of value, and we're going to be seeing gameplay from all of them as the video progresses and we get into some other fights. But yeah, pretty clean dispatch of that first fight there. And next we're going against a band of mercenaries using the exact same team, but again, it's very, very important for the start of this fight that we have Gamora's ultimate attack right off cooldown, because we want to get down the sniper ASAP, because he can absolutely destroy one of my characters. So we go in with a really, really big special free and then absolutely butcher that boy down. So we get damage bonus as well from using that, which then we target the lieutenant and use the standard attack, which has a chance of a bonus attack, and we get him down. Absolutely beautiful start to that fight. It mitigates so much damage, because if you don't take care of those damage dealers quite quickly, especially in the second fight here, they can get hid behind the 2 taunt minions, which are to the right. You're going to see them both taunt up in a second. So yeah, if you can't get them down, then these damage dealers, they're behind the taunt ones, and they're going to absolutely wreck your team there. But we got my boy Luke Cage going in ham. There isn't really much threat in terms of damage, so at the moment I'm just using the standard basic abilities on pretty much every character, topping up my team there with the healer that we managed to summon from Nobu's summon ability. But yeah, just going in with the standard. I actually used the 2 on Gamora just to quickly reset, you know, help reset the cooldown of the ultimate faster, because that's something we need as well, ideally for the next fight, which is arguably the hardest fight at the start of one of the level 40 raid paths. And despite this being a level 40 raid, it's tuned a little bit higher than that. Like, you really do need to have a really strong roster of level 50 characters and then for them to be decently geared. But again, this is open beta, like a lot of stuff has already changed with the 30 raid, and I imagine the 40 raids, I don't know, they might be toned down a little bit because a lot of players are really struggling with 40 raids at the moment. But anyway, just finishing off some goons with a couple of basic attacks, and I did the first 2 fights in slow motion to kind of introduce people who may not have seen Strike Force to the combat, but for the next fights we turn on the ×3 speed, because there is a lot to dissect in these matchups. Now, making a slight roster adjustment, swapping out Luke Cage for Hulk, and I wanted to heal up the Kingpin because he, you know, took quite a battering in really the first fight, got a lot of hand ninja stuff, and we have plenty of resources to do that, so you can manage your resources very smart, and it's quite easy to get a good amount of raid health packs on a weekly basis. So I go in for the sniper with hope, because I know I can't one-shot Red Skull, but I tried to one-shot the sniper there. It didn't pan out well, unfortunately failed. Now there is a taunt minion active. My Gamora got absolutely wrecked by Red Skull. Red Skull is a crazy character. He's one of the champions in the game at the moment that's not playable, but yeah, he's insane. Like, has a chance for all Hydra allies to assist, and when you're on a node with all Hydra allies, like, can get really crazy. But yeah, we summoned a taunt there, got popped off with a sniper. I've put my taunt on Hulk, and just waiting for Kingpin to come around, but I've decided to prioritize getting Red Hulk down. Use the Archer AoE just to get rid of the death proof on the sniper there. That's while he was glowing. And yeah, just trying to get Red Skull down at this point, waiting for Hulk's turn to come up, because we're going to have a very powerful ultimate smash ability there. Managed to get one enemy down, and Red Skull and this other rifle trooper are pretty much dead at this point. But this is a node. It's just really annoying to deal with Red Skull, man. He's a crazy character. Summon a couple of more hand minions with Nobu. Getting a nice kind of swarm going on here, so it's fairly decent. Get the Grenadier down and the Scientist last, because yeah, it's good to kind of leave the super tanky champions if you can to last, because they don't do a huge amount, and then you can, you know, reset your abilities cooldowns, the ones that you really need for quickly dispatching of opponents in other fights. So yeah, we go on to the next node. The next node, again, is a really annoying node because it's quite bursty, and this is where I usually bring in my Drax, because Drax is a character that has torn immediately from the start of the fight. I also bring in Elektra as well. Elektra and Drax, I think, are the 2 consistent champions, but I make a little bit of a mistake in the ordering here. So Elektra, because she's so fast and an assassin, we use her to immediately go for Iron Man. We want to get Iron Man down. Black Widow is a support character. She's speeding up the entire team. But there we go. We got Iron Man down to prevent his AoE on the team. And then it's a case of getting Rocket Raccoon down, Bullseye, and then either Daredevil or Elektra, then Black Widow. But I kind of thought that I had, for some reason, I thought that I had Yondu on my team, and he has like a AoE where his Yaka arrow goes through every opponent. So you'll see here, I'm trying to get like Elektra, Bullseye, and Rocket Raccoon to all die at the same time, because I think I have Yondu in my team, but I just totally forgot about it. I think this is the point where I realize, oh no, it's not yet, it's this point now, this next turn I realize I don't have Yondu, because he'd just be able to clean all 3 of them up like that. But yeah, we just get them down one by one after that, so we took a little bit of unnecessary damage there, bit of a misplay in terms of my overall strategy. I decide, well, you know what, we'll go for the hand summon, also because we have Black Widow, her speed bar is full enough to get down that Bullseye. So yeah, at this point we're just trying to lay into the opponent, kind of clean it up, use that hand minion to get rid of the counter on Daredevil. And I believe he dodged it actually there. Nobu's in a bit of a dire situation, but he's in stealth, so it's not too bad. Speed up on Black Widow, just to kind of, you know, get things rolling, get these major abilities off cooldown, and hopefully finish the fight as quickly as possible without anybody dying. I think we're in an alright position to do that. So yeah, we go ahead, we take down the Elektra, and yeah, that's not too bad. We move on to the final fight. And the final fight that we have on this path today, because there's quite a bit to the 40 raids, but generally speaking, you know, everybody in the Alliance takes about like 5 to 7 fights, ideally trying to use as little items as possible. But for this one, it's a team of Kingpin, and it's got like Ronan, Korath the Pursuer, but it's really like get down Ronan, get down Korath, and then like it's a pretty easy time. So we've swapped out, we got in Luke Cage instead of the Fallen Drax, and also put in Yondu as well and healed up. Well, actually, we haven't even healed up the Winter Soldier. I decided we don't really need it because this one isn't too bad. Just get Ronan down. You want to snipe him as quickly as possible to prevent it, because if he gets to his area of effect ability, which you can do really, really quickly on this one, then you are just wrecked. So you need three fairly hard-hitting champions, you know. Elektra, Winter Soldier, Yondu's a really, really great combo for this. We've taunted on the Luke Cage. In hindsight, I probably should have used his third ability, which allows him to heal a little bit and gain death proof. But we're just going for Korath at the moment. Get that punch in on the Winter Soldier. Very, very close to getting Korath down, but we didn't quite get him there. Because they're all single target minions now. We can summon bodyguards on the Kingpin. And we got a fairly safe time. And we've got the Yaka arrow, so that's the AoE on Yondu. Took down the bodyguards and dealt damage to absolutely everyone. And now it's just a case of trying to get these Kree down as quickly as possible. Kind of that's the main focus. And then trying to recharge the abilities of various characters, because, you know, I might need to do a couple of additional nodes a little bit later in regards to the 40 raid. So yeah, we're going in for the Kree node ball now. Always finish this node with Kingpin last, because 2 out of 3 of his turns, he is like completely wasting when he's on his own. Like, he does the armor up buff and he summons bodyguards, but if you have a team, like, that stuff is just, you know, you're always outdoing that, and it pretty much constitutes minimal effectiveness. And Kingpin's just a really, really great champion to leave till last, because then you can just keep on battering him and reset the cooldown of all your major abilities. That's where the gameplay ends. Thank you so much for watching, take care, and have an absolutely fantastic day.